Welcome to Fertility TV, your YouTube channel dedicated to everything fertility and helping you get pregnant. Today, I'm bringing you another real live case of a woman that I helped get pregnant. In this video, we're going to be talking about Clomid, trigger shots, endometriosis, and a 7-year struggle of fertility and not being able to get pregnant during those 7 years. If you're new here, then my name is Dr. Marc Sklar, the fertility expert, and I help couples from all over the world get pregnant through my virtual online programs and consultations. So in this video, you're going to be hearing from Katelyn. She was 31 when she started to get pregnant, and she was told that she only had a 50% chance of getting pregnant. A little funny note to mention here is that Katelyn's mother-in-law was actually the one who found my YouTube channel and found my videos. She's the one who shared them with Katelyn, and that's why she started working with me on her fertility journey. So if you're a friend or family member researching on YouTube to help someone you love, then share this video with them because this might be exactly what they need. Before we get started, I have an announcement and an invitation for you. If you've been trying for over 6 months, this is what you've been waiting for. I want to invite you to a free fertility training where I will teach you the 5 steps for a positive pregnancy that I used with her and thousands of other women that I helped get pregnant. There are so many things that you can do to improve your fertility that you might not be doing because nobody told you. Register for free at marksklar.com/positive pregnancy to save your spot for my free training. Now let's get started with her story.
I was 31 years old when we started working with him. Previously we had been trying for just about 6 years or so. We had gone through rounds and rounds of Clomid. I had done trigger shots. I had found I had cyst rupturing. I didn't know what it was, and so we found that out. We went with another doctor who decided to go in and search and see if I had endometriosis, which I did. It was on my ovaries. It was everywhere where he tried to get as much as he could, but he couldn't get it all. He was the same doctor. He's kind of a little old school. He pulled my ovaries, removed the cysts off my ovaries. And then at that point, he decided right after the surgery would be the best time to start trying again.
So she'd been trying for 6 years. She's now 31. And over this time, she's discovered that she has endometriosis, and it was actually relatively severe endometriosis, that she had ovarian cysts that kept rupturing, which is extremely painful. And they thought that this was the cause or the main causes for her fertility issues.
And so I had done 4 rounds of the Clomid, trigger shots, and the intrauterine inseminations.
And so often when this is the case, when you find cysts and endometriosis, the recommendation is to do inseminations with Clomid. A trigger shot is typically standard as part of that. And Clomid can be helpful. It also can cause all sorts of additional side effects and concerns and issues. And in her case, because of the endometriosis and the cysts, I'm not so sure that that was the best path moving forward given her history, but that's what she did.
After the 4th, nothing worked. I never was able to get pregnant. He sent us over to a fertility specialist here in Fresno, and he looked at everything, and his opinion was that I would only have a 56% chance of getting pregnant with IVF.
And so now, this was all done with her OBGYN. Now she was referred to a fertility specialist, which is really an IVF clinic, and they were recommending IVF, and they were given a 50% chance that that would be effective.
My mother-in-law is actually the one who had been doing a bunch of research for us, and she found Dr. Sklar. I think it was June of 2019, we started working with him. And he immediately was brought peace to the whole situation. He's amazing. And he, through all the tests, the labs and tests he had performed, he found several things within myself. My husband was his his count was really high, but he had a low percentage of abnormal sperm. But I had the endometriosis, hypothyroidism, my glucose was high, just several things that the doctors hadn't even considered or even would think to have it play a factor, I guess.
So I looked deeper into her situation. Yes, we knew there was endometriosis, and yes, we knew that she had ovarian cysts, but she'd also been trying after procedures to get pregnant. So those should have addressed some of those issues, and they didn't, or they didn't lead to pregnancy. So I felt like there had to be something more. It's in my nature to want to just make sure that we rule out everything else, and it really would have been endometriosis and cysts. And in her case, when we looked a little bit deeper, we found that there was a thyroid issue, which can make it much more difficult to actually conceive, and that there was a little bit of a male factor that needed to also be addressed. It's not that the endometriosis and the cysts weren't issues, they were, but she was doing a lot of things to address them. I just wanted to take it up a notch so that she was really having a well-rounded approach to managing her endometriosis and cysts, and then in addition to that, supporting those other areas I just mentioned.
After the specialized plan, my husband and I stick to it like hardcore. Eating properly, and Dr. Sklar would check in with us, and he would check my labs as we went on, to make sure like my thyroid was in place. And there was talk of I had started with
So she's correct. She jokes about it, but her and her husband were hardcore about it, meaning that they followed through with everything that I said, and they were very strict with themselves because they were determined to get the results that they wanted. In addition to that, just because you put somebody on some things doesn't mean that doesn't need to be monitored, right? We want to make sure that we're seeing the results that she should be seeing and that I would like to see. And sometimes things need to be adjusted as we start to see that progress and results. And that's exactly what we continue to do with her.
Natural supplement for that. And there was, he had said if it wouldn't come down, I would need to go on medication. And thankfully it did come down. So I was able to stay natural, which I had wanted to do.
I want to make a note here. What she's referring to here is her thyroid. And one of the bigger challenges with thyroid treatment is that sometimes with a natural approach, we can't control it enough, that it's not stable enough to keep it where it needs to be ongoingly for a considerable amount of time and into the pregnancy. And so I always told her in the beginning, which was we're going to try naturally, but if we can't, then we will have to go to the medication route of things, and we're going to have to coordinate that with her physician there to make sure that everything's taken care of and monitored properly. Luckily, in her case, we were able to manage that naturally. Sometimes it's not possible, and each situation is different and unique in its own right.
But I was okay with if I needed it to do it. The number one thing that stands out to me and still sticks with me is when we first started working with him, during conversation, I had told him like I'm not going to hold it against him if I don't get pregnant, but I just want to be healthy. We were also going through the adoption process at the same time. And then we found out we were pregnant that August. So last August. Yeah. We knew deep down that this was going to lead to us getting pregnant. And I know like when we first met with him, he said, I can't guarantee 100% that I can get you there, but he gave us so much more hope than Western medicine can do.
So one of the things that Katelyn pointed out was that they just wanted hope, right? They wanted hope that they were doing the right things, that there was a chance that they could conceive. And that's one of the number one things that I did for her, is restore that belief in herself and their ability to conceive, which restored her hope. Additionally, what I did promise to her is that after working together, is that she would be much healthier than she was before and be much better able to get pregnant and carry a pregnancy. I could never guarantee that she would get pregnant, but I could guarantee that she would be in a much healthier place to make that happen, which is what happened. And as she mentioned, they were trying to also adopt simultaneously.
Not just, okay, let's focus on pumping you with drugs to try and get you pregnant, but he cares about the whole system. Going from an opinion of a top fertility specialist of saying you only have 56% chance to working with Dr. Sklar, and him saying, hey, I'm pretty sure I can get you pregnant. Like, I've worked with people like this before, was like night and day. I'm like, what? How is this possible? He, down to like my labs, down to the T, he had it specialized, the plan for us.
Everything needs to be specialized. You all are unique individuals with unique circumstances, unique environments, and we can't just take anybody's plan or any recommendations we find on Google or that a friend tells us and make them our own, because as you can hear, she had all of these extenuating circumstances that needed to be accounted for, as you all do, right? And she also needed someone to look at her lab work uniquely and individually for her, and then pick out how that was going to be formulated a plan for her specific needs. And that's exactly what I was able to do, and it's exactly what you all deserve.
Yeah, I believe that led to us getting pregnant. Yeah, I was so excited to reach out to him to let him know that we were pregnant. And then I had sent him an email after we had our daughter. Yeah, to just share with him, because I know like he really does put his talent.
Those are my favorite times. My favorite times when I get those emails, those messages that we're pregnant or here's my baby announcement. Those are so precious to me, and that's what keeps me motivated, is individuals like Katelyn and all of you who are on this path, on this mission to grow your families. And I'm on a mission to help you get there, but doing it the right way, preferably the natural way. These messages mean so much to me, and I want to hear those messages from all of you. I want to know from all of you if you've been able to get pregnant through the support that I've given here on these videos in any other way. And I look forward to, at some point in time, getting more messages just like that from all of you. Katelyn's reproductive and fertility issues might be unique to her, but her story is not unique. Her struggle is not unique. Her journey is not unique. You all watching have had a similar struggle and journey, but I want to make your process easier, simpler, and not as long. And I want to make it unique to you so that you have the most optimal chance to get pregnant naturally and have a healthy pregnancy and baby. So after watching the video, here are some key points that I want you to take away from it. She had been trying for 7 years and nobody looked at her thyroid or told her how important her thyroid was to her reproductive health and fertility. And additionally, nobody told her how to manage her endometriosis, that eating the right foods was so important, and that lifestyle choices at home and home therapy techniques like vaginal steams were so valuable to her progress. I don't want you to go through 7 years either. I'm on a mission to help you understand your fertility and your root causes so you can start to fix them now. And that's why I want to invite you to a free training where I teach you the 5 steps to a positive pregnancy, just like I did for her and thousands of other women that I helped get pregnant. There are so many things that you can be doing to improve your fertility that you don't even know about because no one's ever mentioned it to you. I'd love to teach you everything that I did for Katelyn and other women so that you can get pregnant as well, but I can't do it all in this video. So I want you to register for this free training at marksklar.com/positive pregnancy so that you can reserve your free spot. In my free training, I'm going to teach you real actionable steps that you can start to implement right away. My objective is to help you create your own personalized fertility plan based on your needs to help you get pregnant naturally. If you've been trying for 6 months or more, or if you're over 30, it's time to take action now and do something different to improve your fertility. Trust me when I tell you that this fertility training could be the difference between having a positive pregnancy test in the next year or continuing down the same path you have previously. I'm on a mission to help you take control of your fertility. Click right here to reserve your spot so that I can help you too. I believe that there's always hope, and I want you to remember that I believe in you and your fertility, and your ability to get pregnant.